like I understand while the SEC case was still active, that these are companies, they have compliance teams or compliance policies and whatnot. So but are they even following their own policies? I don't know. Like XRP had a SEC case, and they've been, I think, listed and delisted and relisted on a bunch of different exchanges multiple times. But with RH assets, it feels like they've just been kind of waiting for this all to blow over, or maybe hoping it didn't if they secretly just hate him and his projects. But now that it is blown over, ball's in their court. So it's really just give them a bit of time, I guess. We've seen hints of like Kraken, for example, their support guy, their intern on X is just, hinting at a listing. So, give them time, get their liquidity or whatever. Hopefully they just buy directly on market. Who knows? Maybe they already did. Maybe they were part of that pump. And then just wait for the listing. It would be my guess. And yeah, I would hope to see the big guys like the Krakens and Coinbases of the world. Because even though there are trade-offs of being listed on a centralized exchange, as we just saw with Coinbase's data leak, or I think they came out with the data of like how much money they lose every single month, every single quarter, and it's a staggering amount, albeit a small-ish percentage of the revenue they make every year. I can't remember. I think I saw like 3.4 billion in revenue in Q4 or something like that. The Coinbase numbers, it was huge. Don't quote me on that, but they make a shit ton of money. So, yeah, just there are trade-offs, but as you said earlier, it's about eyes. When you guys said it's just about getting more eyes, and trust me, they have a ton of eyes and targeted crypto eyes. So, I mean, you can't get really any better than 10 million monthly users on Coinbase. That's good. That's really, really good. Even if just 1% of those people are interested, that's already 100K people. How many people do we have holding our assets, these assets? Probably like around that number, about 100K. So even if 1% of the Coinbase monthly users were to come into the ecosystem, that already doubles our community size. That'd be huge. Metcalfe's law, what is that, like a 4x in value for a communications network? It's a rough analogy, right, that we use all the time, Metcalfe's law, but it's yeah, I mean, we just need more eyes. I'd love to see them finally list on Coinbase and Kraken and all those. They don't have as many excuses anymore. I don't think they even have a single good excuse to not list at this point. I really don't. I can't think of anything. Earlier I could, but now SEC case 1, maybe the Interpol notice, but that's the founder. That's not the token, right? And this stuff kind of runs on its own. So it's, that's the only excuse I could think of right now is the red notice to not list.
You're right that a lot of people have been using the SEC stuff and other kind of like vagueness in the law to list or delist or do some sort of middle ground with stuff. I mean, XRP is even an interesting case there that you brought up, which is that they've had multiple court battles in the past that they won. But even recently, the state of Oregon actually reopened an investigation and suit into Coinbase because they believe that the SEC wasn't doing their job. So they figured we have to do the SEC's job. And it's like, it's a very different political question about federalism and the roles of that. But even then, stuff like that is anybody going to delist XRP because Oregon's going after them? Probably not. And yeah, SEC case is cleared up now. The Interpol red notice, it's not even Hex or PulseChain related stuff. It's just tax and an alleged case of simple assault. So at that point, it's less about finding more excuses to not list this stuff. And it's more of just people making independent judgments on their own. So I think a lot more people are going to come around. I think that once the market really gets going and we start going a little parabolic, people are going to be wanting to chase that gold rush, so to speak. So all those centralized exchanges and even DEXs, they're going to say, look, if there's money to be made, let's make money. So just slap it on there. Let's go.
Let's go.